What is up guys, it's Arnik back with another Tutorial Tuesday for you guys. So today is gonna be a fairly quick one. I am currently working on a new webpage for my portfolio and I plan to implement some small animations to spice things up a little. So I thought, why not make videos about how to create those? So the animation we're going to start with is this bad boy. We already find ourselves in Adobe After Effects in a squared 500 by 500 pixels composition with a light background. So let's kick things off by creating a circular outline as the outer edge of our aperture. Align it to the center of our composition. Let's make the outline a dark color. And for stroke, something around 3 pixels looks good to me. Now deselect all layers and choose the pen tool by clicking up here, or use your keyboard shortcut G. Put the first point somewhere close to the edge where you would like the aperture to begin. Make the second point a little bit down the line and drag it out to create a curve. Try to match the curvature of the outline circle as close as possible. Then just put the third one further into the middle, doesn't really matter where you put it, because we're going to place it correctly in just a bit. Finally, close the shape by connecting the last point with the first one. So far so good, despite this body over here, but we can easily fix it by zooming in, highlighting the vertex and holding down Alt or Option to only drag one handle instead of both. This way you can get rid of the curvature on the side where you don't want it. Okay, great. Now that we have the rough shape of one of our aperture blades, we can fill the rest fairly easily. Of course, one way to do it is to duplicate the shape layer and then adjust every single blade manually. And that is not just incredibly annoying, but also time consuming and inaccurate. A way better method is to use the repeater function that comes with After Effects. Open up the layer settings and create an empty group where you put the shape into. To be clear, you don't have to do this, but from my experience with working with the repeater, it is a good habit to get into. Don't ask me why, but it just works better that way, especially when you start combining multiple repeaters in one layer. Anyways, back to our project at hand. So with our shape inside the group, go to Add and choose Repeater. As you can already see, it automatically created our shape twice more in a row. If we open up the repeater settings, we can see that it is generating 3 copies and all spaced out by 100 pixels from one another. For our aperture, we are going to need 8 blades. We don't want the distribution to be in one line, but around the circle. So we set the position X value to 0. For rotation, simply type in 360 by the number of blades and hit enter. Now we simply adjust the points of our original shape to where they actually should go. And all the copies we made will follow whatever we do with the original layer. And this is the beauty of the repeater. Okay, so we have successfully set up the base for our aperture animation. So now let's get to it. We put a keyframe to the beginning of our timeline, jump ahead a couple of frames by using page down for 1 frame at a time, or hold down Shift and page down for 10 frames, and move the tip of the triangle to something like this. Create a couple of more different aperture sizes. Easy ease all the keyframes, and you got your aperture animation set up. If you notice that the motion between 2 keyframes is kind of off, you can of course always step in and add new keyframes. I would recommend to hold down Ctrl or Command and then click twice on the new keyframe. This will interpolate the keyframe in a way that it does not function as a Bezier nor as a linear keyframe. Next we are going to put our aperture number, or f-stop, in the middle and animate it according to the blades. Create a text layer and put anything in there. We are going to alter the text output anyways. Now, add a slider control. If necessary, you can set the value range of the slider by right-clicking the slider. Go to Edit Values and set the low and high point. Navigate to the source text and Alt or Option click the stopwatch to enter an expression. Here you type, what are these called? Single quotation mark or something? I don't know. Followed by F/ for the f-stop mark of lenses. Closing with another thingy. Plus. And now math with capital M. Point apps. Open brackets. Pick with the slider. Closing brackets. Point to fixed with capital F. Open brackets 1. and end it with a semicolon. So here's what this does. We are telling After Effects that f/ will be the base of our text, which is not altered by anything. And we add the following to this set of string. Math apps for calling the function that takes whatever number the slider is throwing at us and delete everything after the fixed decimal number of 1. Of course you can put any number here, but f-stops are described with only one decimal number, so that's what we're going to do as well. Now I can simply add the keyframes to the slider according to the Aperture Animation. I'll just roughly estimate which f-stop value those sizes would be in a rear camera. Again, highlight all the keyframes and ease them with F9. Playing back, we can see that everything is flowing together nicely. Maybe just a quick addition to make this whole thing a little more interesting. Let's add a rectangular outline, because, you know, just for the styles. Also create a new adjustment layer with Control Command plus Alt or Option and Y, and add the CC vignette effect. Alt or Option click the stopwatch for amount, and in the expression simply pick with the slider of our text layer and multiply that by something like 20. As you can see, you don't see a lot. And why is that? Well, adjustment layers don't really affect the background unless it's an actual layer. So let's create a new layer, Control Command Y, make it white so we can see what the vignette effect actually does, then right click the layer and make it a guide layer. Guide layers are visible within the composition layer and only. They will not be rendered and also are not visible if you put it in a sub-composition, which is a good thing to remember. And there you have it. I will be making a separate tutorial about the repeater function, as there are many ways you can use it creatively. I hope you picked up something new this week. If so, don't forget to drop a comment, slap that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and ring that bell to be notified about future videos. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!